All right, fourth grade, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Finally, a video from me, Mrs. JB. So, today, what we are going to be learning about is subjects and predicates. Totally interesting, totally something you need to know about and know really well so that when we get to writing, we see complete sentences that make a lot of sense. So, the first thing that I'm going to share with you is something that I need you to try and remember every time you see a sentence. So, when we ask you, is this a complete sentence? Keep this thought in the back of your mind. Every sentence that is complete has two parts. So, I'm going to even highlight this because this is super important. Two parts in every sentence. The first part that we are going to talk about is a subject. So for a subject, we are going to use green right now. A subject is going to be who or what our sentence is about. The second half of a sentence is going to be called the predicate. The predicate we'll make that red. A predicate contains the action or the verb. So really it tells us something about the subject. So you're probably like, okay, I need an example. What is this lady talking about? So I'm going to give you an example and we're going to go through what a subject and a predicate are in the following sentence. So, used a little example, used student from my class. So I'm going to say that Cole and Scurvy is Cole's dog. We're going to say that Cole and Scurvy run around the block at night. So what we need to do is we need to identify our subject and our predicate. If we look back at our green right here, it says that our subject is who or what our sentence is about. So if I look through my sentence here, I'm going to notice, well, right at the beginning here, Cole and Scurvy, those are who's, those are people, those are what. So what is a dog? So we can go ahead and we can highlight that green. Cole and Scurvy are our subject. So now I need to look for our predicate. Our predicate is going to tell me the action, the verb. What are Cole and Scurvy doing? Well, according to this sentence, Cole and Scurvy are running around the block at night. So I'm going to make this a little bit lighter of a red. But right here, this is all our predicate. This is the whole thing that Cole and Scurvy are doing. Now, I don't know if Cole and Scurvy really do that, but I figured this would be a really good example for you to see. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to practice with just a few of these. So if I write another sentence, I'm going to go ahead and change back here. I'm going to write another sentence. I am going to write that Dylan and Liam work well together in Mrs. Davies' room. I have a lot of who's or what's in here, but I want you to take a minute to think about what our subject is. Then I want you to take a minute and think about what our predicate could be. Let's see if you were right. So, right here we have Dylan and Liam. If I go back to our subject, or who or what our sentence is about. Dylan and Liam are the subject. What is the thing that Dylan and Liam do really well? Well, they work together in Mrs. Davies' room. They work pretty well together. That is going to be our predicate. So now we did two examples and they had people as subjects. There are going to be times where you might not have a person who is your subject. So here's an example of that. So I have this sentence, Yorkville and Bolingbrook are two cities in Illinois. I'm looking for my subject. I did say over here that my subject can be who or what the sentence is about. I don't have a who in the sentence, but I do have a what. Yorkville and Bolingbrook are going to be the subject in the sentence. Now I have to look here and say, okay, my predicate wants me to look for the action, the verb, or what the subject is talking about. So I'm going to take a look here and I'm going to notice that what are Yorkville and Bolingbrook? They are two cities in Illinois. That's my predicate. So I have a little example for you. You might know some of these things from science. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to have you try another one. So our sentence is going to say volcanoes and earthquakes can cause great destruction. You should remember destruction from our vocabulary list this week. But I want you to think, who or what is the sentence is about? When you answer that question, you figured out our subject. What is happening? What is so important about volcanoes and earthquakes? Well, they can cause great destruction. So hopefully you figured out that our subject is volcanoes and earthquakes, and our predicate is that they can cause great destruction. So that's just kind of a real quick introduction to subjects and predicates. Now, I kind of found this cool little picture that I want you to see, and I thought it was kind of funny. So this gives you a few more examples for subjects and predicates. So in our first sentence, it says, Mr. Smith took a walk. Obviously, you can tell that Mr. Smith is our subject. Our predicate, or our action, is that he took a walk. The second sentence says, the dentist pulled out a tooth. Our subject is the dentist. What did that dentist do? He pulled a tooth out. Does not sound fun. And then finally, this is the best one. The pig with the big snout slobbered on a kid. Gross. But we're really just focused on subjects and predicates here. The pig with the big snout, he's our subject. What did he do? He slobbered on a kid. Seriously, gross piggy. So these are all, if you've noticed, sentences that ends in periods. We can sometimes, though, have questions. So if we have a question, that might look a little different to find the subject and the predicate. So here's an example. I'm going to show you how we find the subject and predicate in a question. So when we see a question, this is what we're going to do. Here's our example sentence. My question is, I'm going to ask you guys, does your dog do tricks? Really hard to figure out what our subject is. What we're going to do is we are actually going to change this into a statement. Right now we have a question. We're going to change it into a statement. So I'm going to rewrite this and say, your dog does do tricks. Now, your dog might not know any tricks. My dog Mouse does not know any tricks. I throw a treat at her and it bounces right off her head. But to figure out our subject and our predicates, we are going to flip our question into a statement. So I can figure out my subject, the who or the what, is going to be your dog. And then I want to know, what does the dog do? Well, we were asking our question if they do tricks. So our predicate is going to be does do tricks. So here's another question that I have for you. My question is this. Will, oh, I didn't want to highlight that. Hold, please. Will Ava come with to the park? So we're going to take a minute. I want you to take a look at that sentence and figure out what can we do to first turn this into a statement. So to turn this into a statement, I am going to change it and I'm going to write Ava will come with to the park. Okay, so then I have my period. Now I can easily find my who or my what. My who or my what is Ava. My predicate is this. Don't worry, we're going to practice some more of these, but here's your quick little intro. Hope you liked your first video.